Thanks. Would you mind coming a little to the front, because it's really nasty to speak to empty chairs, just if you don't mind. And I promise you, if it's really bad, you can go wherever you're sitting. I know it's important, because I'm tending to go out if I don't like it too, so that's absolutely okay, but then I see some faces. Thank you so much. Actually, I don't see that much with all the lights. Yeah, I can come to you, that's nice, okay. Great, and last gentleman is coming. Would you mind closing the door? No, he's going again. Oh, okay, I shouldn't have addressed him. Oh, there are still people coming, Adam. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, it's all about negotiation now in the next 3/4 of an hour. And of course I thought about when was my first negotiation, and to be honest, I don't remember it myself, but I was told it was a huge success at the time. Now you may think, why doesn't she remember it? Was she drunk? No, I just was really, really little. I was about 4 years old at that time, and my parents told me about it. We were on vacation in the Netherlands, and they met friends there by coincidence. And you can imagine what happens when people around 30 meet each other by coincidence. They have to get together and to eat, and yeah, you guessed it, to drink a lot. And it was the 70s, so parents were quite open for drinking and having parties, even if they had small children. It was no problem. They put me on some sofa or in some bed, and I slept, and they had lots of fun, and I was told it was a really heavy night. And of course, they couldn't drive home to our, I think, camping space or wherever we stayed. So we had to sleep over in the house of the friends. And of course, I woke up early and I was hungry. And then I opened some doors, and I found this nice gentleman from yesterday, and he had been really nice and kind to me, so I thought that is the right one. And I shook him, I woke him up, and he said, "What do you want?" And I said, "You have to make me breakfast, I'm hungry." "Go to your parents." "No, I can't wake them up, they're sleeping." And I don't know what happened next, but I got my breakfast, scrambled eggs, which was my absolute favorite at that time. So I think I had some negotiation skills already with 4 years, or maybe some other things were speaking for me. I show you what I mean. Who could you resist this phase, right? Yeah, but I grew older, and so I had to learn some more negotiation skills. And I had the usual school, I think most of you had it, negotiating about pocket money, and when do I have to be at home at night, and do I have to clean my room or not, and stuff like this. And then of course, at some point I started to work, and then it became more serious. For 20 years now, I get paid for negotiating, and I like this. I started in sales. I'm a sales trainer now, but I used to work as a sales representative, and of course I had to negotiate all the time about money most of the times. And now I have to negotiate still with my clients. What do we do? Which kinds of trainings do we do? Money is a topic as well. And of course, I negotiate all the time, like I guess all of you do. In my opinion, we negotiate several times a day. I don't know if you see it like this. And even if we don't think about the negotiations we have with ourselves, like I have every morning, do I get up or can I stay in bed 5 minutes more or something like this? I don't mean them, but with other people. My definition is whenever you meet people with different ideas than yours, different goals than yours, different experiences than yours, and you have to come to a mutual solution, that's a negotiation. And if you think about it like this, you will do this more than once a day, I'm quite sure. And even it's about what do we order for food. But of course, not all negotiations are difficult, and not for all negotiations you would need a speech like a talk like this. Especially the situations when it's getting important for you are the ones that can be difficult. As you will know, we have two levels of thinking, and one is the emotional level and the other one is the factual level. And I'm quite sure you could solve almost every problem and you could find a solution to almost every conflict on the factual level if it's just using your brain and finding solutions. All of you can do this. It's getting difficult when emotions kick in, and you know that. And you might even get stressed. And the bad thing is that always happens when it's important for you, right? There are 3 levels of stress, just to let you know which ones there are. The first one are your normal stress patterns. That is the stuff you practiced very well. In negotiations, in my experience, most of the time it's arguing, talking, and unfortunately it's not listening. But it might be different with you. You will know what you do when you get a little stressed. I do the talking thing like most of the people do. If that's not enough, and if you get more stress, there's a second level, and that might be your childhood patterns. Like this little cute guy here, that's not me, as you can see, because I never had curly hair. And to the normal patterns, something else will be added. You might whine a little, or you might get really illogical in your arguments, or you might get aggressive, or some of you, if it's really a personal topic, might start to cry. That's what I do when I have discussions with my husband. Fortunately, it's not too often, but then that can happen, and then I'm in my childhood pattern. And if that's still not enough, there's a third level, and that's the instinctive stress patterns. And then you're back in your reptile brain, in your brain stem. And then it's just fight, flight, or there's a third one as well, pretending to be dead. Most people know the first 2 ones, but the third one, some of you will know as well. It's this point of stress where you cannot do anything at all. Your brain is blank, you cannot speak, you cannot move. And some of you will know this. It feels like you're paralyzed. But to avoid this, and to even avoid the second stress level, I have some ideas for you. This first level of normal stress patterns, if you can solve the problem there because you have useful stress patterns, they don't have to be bad patterns. They can be good ones too, but you have to practice them. And I have 3 patterns for you. You can practice, and I suggest to practice them when you're not stressed. In normal conversations, you can use them all the time. They're useful all the time. And if you have practiced them long enough, you will have a new neuronal pathway in your brain, and then you can even use them when you're stressed. And then you will not need all this other stuff, number 2 and 3. And you will notice that you're a little stressed when you get really thirsty like I do now. So here's the first one. Don't preach, please. And even if you're not a pastor, ask instead of preaching. You can say arguing instead of preaching too, but I think sometimes it sounds like preaching if you're in a negotiation and you try to explain yourself. Let's imagine a situation. Maybe some of you get into similar situations. Let's imagine you needed Paul. And Paul is a very talented programmer. Paul is a little difficult too, but you need him in your project. Let's assume you have a very important project and you need something Paul can do and you can't. And so you have to convince him to join your team. Most of you, I assume, and I don't know you, maybe you're better than that, but most of you, I assume, will prepare arguments for this negotiation. And you don't have to nod or to shake your heads. That's just my experience. Most of the people prepare for negotiations by finding the best arguments. And when I do a negotiation training, that's one of the most asked questions. How can I learn to get better arguments? But that's not really helpful. You might tell Paul that you really needed him and that the project is really important and that your boss has a focus on it, and so it will be good for Paul as well when he works in this project, and so on and so forth. And Paul, because he is so skilled, will tell you that he's really, really busy and he doesn't have any time to help you. And it might even happen that you don't listen to him properly because you are already preparing your next sentence. That's what happens most of the time in negotiations. It's not very useful. The better thing to do is to ask questions. So in a better negotiation world, you would introduce your topic briefly, and then you would start to ask Paul, what does he think about your project? Could he imagine to join you? What is his situation? What problems that Paul has must be solved that he can help you with this? And so on and so forth. Because the most common mistake in negotiations is to try to solve the situation through talking about yourself. The solution lies within the other and within the other's situation. And only if you understand the other's situation, goals, interests, ideas, experiences, you can find a way together. The question that's over everything is, what do you need to come to a solution with me? What does the other need from you? And now, if you know that Paul has a time problem, for example, you might think about solutions to that. Maybe he can help you just with his know-how and doesn't have to do much work. Or maybe you can work around his schedule, or maybe you can postpone parts of your project so that he's able to find time, or something like this. After you listen to him, he will be way more willing to help you than when you just start to preach why it's important for you to have him in your team. And if you ask questions, you will not talk about the if anymore, if he wants to help you, but how he's able to help you. This works all the time, even if this case with Paul is not typical for you. Think about something else. Think about a situation you have where you have to convince people. Asking is always a good pattern to learn and practice from this afternoon on. And you will really see that things change. Second pattern you can learn is to avoid yes but. Who of you doesn't say yes but anymore? Okay, thank you for your honesty. One of you raised the hand, and that might very well be congratulations on this, but most of the people, if they're honest, still use yes but. And when discussions get heated up, then you can be sure that you will hear this. And what happens with this yes but? Paul, I need you in my project. Yes, but I have no time. Yeah, but I need you. You can do something I need. Yeah, I know, but I'm already in 3 other projects. Yes, but the boss is really looking on this, and I don't have to play this to the end. You get the idea. Nobody's listening to the other. You're already preparing your next argument. You're waiting impatiently until the other stops talking, that you can say your part. And maybe the sentences do not start with yes, but all the time, but with very similar words. What does yes, but actually mean? We say yes, but actually we mean no, you're wrong. And that's why everybody gets really defensive. When you are addressed with yes, but, you think about your next yes, but. Argument, counter-argument, argument, counter-argument. It means no, you are wrong, or as my husband would put it, Blödsinn, or in English, bullshit. So, yes, but equals bullshit, and you should be really aware of this all the time, because this is why this will not work. Maybe you start your conversation with really open-minded people there, and Paul just wants to let you know what his problem is, and you just want to invite Paul. And at the beginning of this conversation, everything is possible, but after this yes but discussion, both positions are cemented. There are curved in stone. They will not move anymore, and that's the danger of this. I have a much better technique for you, and it's called the anti-yes but technique, which is very easy. And it works like this. You need 4 steps. The first step is understanding. You just tell the other one that you understand his point, and you can just repeat what he says. I will make an example later. You repeat just what the other said. And then the second point is the most important one. You have to confirm that you got it. In this second step, you really have to change sides. You really have to step into the shoes of the other person. You really have to think what they said, and you have to prove it. So you stick to the other's point of view for a while, until you get a yes. And that will not take much time. And you can get a yes by a facial expression or by a nod, or the other one says, yeah, exactly, yeah, you got me, exactly, something like this. And then you know you can come to the third step, and the third step is your counter-argument. Now you can bring your counter-argument. If you're perfect, you avoid the but, because you don't need it. You can say on the other side, on the other hand, or something like this. And then think about arguments that can convince the other one, so it should relate to them. And then after this, the fourth point is the conclusion, and in the conclusion you can make a suggestion, or you can tell the other one your opinion. But in my experience, a suggestion is a good idea here. I give you an example, of course, with Paul. You could tell Paul, I understand that you don't have the time, and I know that because you have all these skills, everybody wants you, and I noticed you're in lots of projects already, and so I get it. It's really hard for you to work with me. And at that point, Paul will have nodded. On the other hand, it would be really important for me to have you in my team, and the boss is looking on this, and I think he will appreciate if you help me too. And therefore, step 4, I suggest we think about solutions that might help you to not have to now I'm struggling for words, that it doesn't take too much time for you, and on the other side you can help me. Can we do this? Can we try to find a solution? And I'm quite sure after this Paul will talk to you, at least talk to you, and that's new. This technique is really, really strong, really powerful. The first thing is that you really have to listen. The second thing is that you really have to consider what the other said. And I have the own experience that this changes things. I had a discussion with a customer of mine, and we discussed in which way to train his sales crew. I recommended to go out with them. I wanted to join them as their customer visits. I want to see what they're doing in real life. And he wanted, as he called it, a theory seminar. And I wasn't a fan of this idea because we already had seminars. And I knew that they knew this theory, but they didn't use it. And we discussed, I'm sure it was half an hour already, both of us really tired, yes but, yes but, yes but, yes but, yes but. Nobody was listening to the other, but I just had learned this technique. So now you know that's not my technique, I just got it somewhere, but it's good. And I thought, I can try this. And then I said, oh, I understand that you want another theory seminar for your team. And now I had to think about the reasons why he could think so. And to be honest, I hadn't thought of any of that before. But then I got the idea, yeah, it would be really stressful for them because normally they are working on the phone and they visit their customers very, very seldomly, and it will be really stressful if another person is with them as well, and then a trainer and looking what they're doing and so on. And then I told him that that could be a problem. And then I had a new idea, and I wouldn't have had this idea without changing the points of view. And then I told him, okay, on the other hand, they know the theory, but what if we made a seminar with just practice, role plays, and trying to get them to use the techniques they already knew? And that was really surprising for me. I didn't expect it to be like that. But from this point on, I was the biggest fan of this technique. And now here's the third thing you can learn and you should learn, and that is act compatibly. It's like a computer program. They don't always talk to each other, and that's the same with people. I think computer programs are a little easier than people, but still there are some rules that may help you to deal with these really weird people. And let's be honest, there are weird people out there, aren't they? For example, my best friend, she cannot make decisions. I don't get it. She's talking about things she wants to change for years, and she doesn't. I mean, it's so easy. I just decide something and then I make it. And sometimes it's good and sometimes not, but then I have the proof. Yeah, no, but that's just for me. For you, it might be completely other weirdnesses. And the best thing would be, if we are honest, that the other person would notice that they're a little weird and they would change. Right? We would everybody else to be just normal, like we are. And then the world would be a perfect place. But that's not the reality. The reality is they are like they are, and they're just different from how we are. So we have to learn to deal with them. That's plan B, I must confess. Plan A would be the other stuff of them changing. But we can do some things to smoothen the situation, and that is understanding how people are. And there are, some of you may know this, models for this, personality type models, and this is one too. I worked with this for a long, long time, and I like this because it's really simple. It's just 2 dimensions. The first dimension is the reaction dimension. How fast do people react? How fast do people talk, think, and decide? And you will notice that some people you know are really fast. They don't care for detail. They just hear some information and then they make their decision, they make up their mind, and then they're on the top level of this. And that's not a good or bad thing. The other types might be on the lower part of this dimension, and then they're more patient, more thoughtful. And I use these words and not fast and slow, because slow is a bad thing for many people. And I don't want it to be good or bad. It's just different. I once had a participant in a seminar, and he said, yeah, I'm one of the patient ones, but sometimes I can get really, really fast. For example, a couple of weeks ago, I went into a store and I bought a TV set, and I just said to the guy, I take this one and I buy it. And I asked him, and how long have you informed yourself about actual TV sets and looked into the internet? And he said, yeah, about 2 or 3 months. Yeah, no, that's not what I mean with fast. And if you see someone on the other part of this dimension, you just can move in this direction. I don't want you to change your personality. Just get a little faster, leave away some detail, or the other way around, just be a little more patient. Know that there will not be a decision in the first conversation, and just be aware that there is someone on the other side of the table that is really different from you. And then there's a second dimension, and that's the relationship dimension. Some people prefer to keep a distance, and some people want closeness. You have to see the context here. It might be different from context to context. Some people are distant in their workplace and they can get very close in their private lives, but you see people mostly in the workplace, and so we just see this context. And in this context, you will find people that like to stay distant, and they want to talk, they don't want to talk about their personal life, they just want to talk about facts, and that's how you notice, how you recognize them. And you recognize the other one, the close ones, very often in the first moment, because they will smile more when they greet you and throughout the conversation, because they want to be liked and they want to like you, and that's important for them. And therefore they will talk about people more and about emotions more. And you can move on this dimension too. And there's a trap on this dimension, because it's easier to move on this fast and slow thing. It's much more difficult to move on this relationship dimension, because you may misunderstand things. And especially the people on the right-hand side that want to be liked, if they sit opposite a person that has a very neutral facial expression, they might misinterpret this as, oh, he doesn't like me, we cannot talk to each other. And I really experienced people that stopped talking to others just because they had a neutral facial expression and they thought it makes no sense to talk to him. And it was just this other type that wanted to keep their distance and wanted to talk about facts, which is completely okay if you know it, if you understand it. And then we have 4 personality types. You have all of them within yourself. Some are stronger, some are not so strong. And if you have the prototypes, I will show them to you right now. Then you have a very typical person there. And I'm pretty sure you will recognize them. You have the fiery red one. They can be a little dangerous, but there's a lot of power in them. Then you have the bright yellow ones, and their rays can shine in every direction at the same time. And then you have the green ones, and they are really rooted, and they don't move that easily, like a big old tree, and very down to earth most of the time. And then you have the blue ones, analytical, like a water drop that can get into every little corner and through every little gap. But I will not explain them to you, they will explain themselves. I have 4 experts for you, and they will explain the types themselves. Oh, shit. No, that's not a good situation. No, not now. I'm in the middle of a talk. People are looking at me here. I cannot talk. What? What problem? Oh, you don't. Yeah. Stop. You know, I don't like problems. I like solutions. So find one, okay? And then call me in half an hour and tell me that everything is okay. You can solve this problem. No, not now, no. See you later. I'm sorry about this. I don't know what gets into the mind of people. They are so, I don't know, complicating. I mean, is it so difficult to make a decision? I make decisions all the time. Let's say I make 100 decisions every day. 90 of them are good. 10 are not so good. 7 of these 10 I can change, and then they're also good. And then I still have 3 not so good decisions. Who cares? It's still 97 good decisions. I mean, how long does it take to see the problem, make a decision, and then everything is okay? Nah. Okay, but I'm here to tell you how the red types work. I mean, it's really easy. If you want to negotiate with me, there are 3 things. Don't waste my time, don't get on my nerves, and don't tell me what I have to think. It's as easy as that. So if you want to convince me, you really have to prepare, because you will not have much time. Because I don't have time. I set priorities, and I'm really good in setting priorities. And so maybe you have 20 minutes. In this 20 minutes, present me 3 good alternatives, and then I will say, okay, we make it like this, and everything is okay. How complicating can it be? Very easy. Yeah, but okay, maybe it's not so easy, maybe there aren't 3 alternatives. Now I tell you a secret, but you are not allowed to tell it to anybody else, okay? Promise? You can really convince me if you quote me, because I like that. If you listen to me and then you say later, oh, you said something very interesting. You said it's really important to stick to the budget. Therefore, I'd suggest we get Paul into the team, because when we have Paul, we will be really quick, and then we don't need that much money and everything will be okay. And if you put it like this, I will be easily convinced, but you don't tell anybody. And then the other thing is, I love to win. To be honest, I always have to win. I cannot do anything against it. So give me something to win. Let's say it's a price negotiation. Then you can plan something in to give me a little something at the end, but I have to fight. Don't make it easy for me. I don't like if it's easy. Let me fight, struggle against it, ruffle your hair if you have to. And then, after a while, when you tell me, okay, because you're such a good negotiator, I have one more thing to give you, then I will be happy. It's really not complicated. Yeah, and then what else is there to know about me? And that, by the way, what I just told you is a secret as well, so keep it for you. And don't try it with me, because I will know who was in this talk, and no chance. Okay, yeah, I will not be in time. I will not be that well prepared when you give me too much stuff to prepare to. I don't have the time, to be honest. Give me one page and maybe I will read it if I have the time. And then I think that's it. Yeah, and that took long enough. I have to go now. You know, this idiot there, I have to help him. I'm sorry about that. Hi. That's really exciting on this stage. So many people, I have to take a photo. Is it okay if I take a photo? I have to show my friends how many people were in my talk. It's so great. Ah, shit. Oh no, I have to turn it around. Yeah, now. And here oh no, my hand is on the camera. Give me a huge smile, please. Yay, great. Thanks. Okay, I have prepared something. I have notes. I think that's the first time I have notes, that I don't forget something that's somewhere in here. You should see what's in this handbag, you would believe it. Yeah, no, okay. Shit. Yeah, okay. So, I haven't prepared notes, but yes, I have, but they're on my desk. So let's do a little improvisation, but I'm really good at this, because most of the times I'm not prepared well, but I don't care, because I can talk myself out of almost everything. I just try to charm the people and then everything is okay. But no, okay, let's concentrate. Yellow. Okay, first thing is I really get excited. If you have good ideas, I will be excited about this. And I will add more ideas to your idea. I'm really, really good at this. I'm really creative. And I love to be creative. What I don't love is to work on these ideas, to fulfill them. I think that's really boring. There's all this detail work, and then you have to be precise, and that's not my cup of tea. Yeah, and the second thing that's really important when you want to talk to me, let's have fun, let's have a good time. Just be, I don't know, laid down, and we don't have to talk about the facts all the time. Tell me about you, or no, even better, I tell you about me, because I'm a really interesting person and I have lots to say. Yeah, and we can have real fun. For example, my tax attorney, he is yellow like me. We have so much fun. He has got a Harley and this really funny beard and cool glasses and everything. Just the tax stuff is ready at the 31st of December every year. And that's exactly the date. I live in Switzerland, where you have to give all this paperwork to the, I don't know what they call this tax office thingy there. Yeah, that's because he is as chaotic as I am. Not a very good combination, but as I like him so much. So, okay. I will not be prepared, like I wasn't here. I will not be in time when we have a conversation, and I might not stick to my promises. I might tell you a lot of things I will do for you, and that's really not I'm sorry about this. In the moment I tell you I will do it, I really, really mean it. But then other stuff happens and I have more appointments and I say yes to more things. That's because I always am excited about things. And the next thing is, if you talk to me, you really have to make kind of contract or a real agreement at the end, because if I go away and the next day the next exciting idea comes, then I might forget about our agreement. So a firm agreement or a contract or something like this is really, really important. And then if you give me something to read in advance and to prepare, I know I won't. So best is you prepare to just explain what you want and give me the important facts just when we are talking. And facts are not so important for me because I decide out of my guts anyway. It doesn't matter what you tell me. Just if the idea sounds great, yeah, I want to be part of it. And okay, oh no, she's already standing up, and there are 2 more types. I have to run. I'm sorry about that. Hi. Yeah, now, oh, I'm sorry. Is it okay here? Can you see me? I really don't like to stand here. I would rather sit down there and listen. I don't like to be in front of such a lot of people, and I apologize in advance. Maybe I will not do a very good job, but it's important for you to understand the green ones. And sometimes I'm not so self-confident, and but there are some things I know that are quite good about me. I can listen well, and I'm really empathic. I feel what people feel, and in my team I always know when somebody's in a bad mood, and I go to them and I help them, and I think I'm really good for the atmosphere in the team. What I don't like is making decisions, and of course if you have to negotiate with me, you want me to make decisions, and I don't want to, because it might be a decision not anybody likes, and I want people to like me. And then they are angry with me, and we have a conflict, and maybe they leave me, and I don't want to be alone. So I avoid decisions if I can, and conflicts and everything. But okay, of course, if you want something from me, I will have to make decisions, and then you have to help me. Very often I'm between chairs. I don't know if this is an English expression as well, but I want to please everybody, and then I want to please you, and I want to please my boss and my colleagues as well. And yeah, if you can help me with this, if you give me really good arguments for the things you want, and help me to sell it within my team, for example, that will help me. And then maybe don't give me huge decisions to make. Maybe we can do it step by step, and you're with me in this, and that will really help. And now I have to go, I guess, because can I still do the 4th one? Is it possible?
Well, sure, it's possible. Depends on the person sitting here.
Okay, do you want to see the 4th one as well?
Do a coffee break.
Typical. Everybody's late. And now I have to deal with it. Of course, I am prepared. I have some notes here, because it's really important for you to understand the blue type. I like quality in my work. I'm really precise. I prove things when I do them, and then I prove them again, and maybe a 3rd time as well. and why not a fourth time? Some people say I'm not as fast as I should be, but the quality of my work is always, almost always perfect. Yeah, I'm really struggling with the fact that I'm not able to be perfect. But I think I'm a little better than most of the people that work today. I don't know how people work today. I mean, for example, this airport in Berlin, you know about this, don't you? How can this happen? The escalators are too short, and then they build this fire protection stuff on the roof, and now the building is in danger, and so on. That's only because they are not working good enough. They are not doing their stuff right. I don't get that. So if you want to negotiate with me, please prepare. Be precise, bring me facts, and give me the opportunity to prepare myself. Give me information in advance, and I will never have a negotiation with you just like this. Oh, do you have 5 minutes of time? No, I won't. Make an appointment, give me information, and then I will be prepared, and you better will be too, because I will try you. I will ask uncomfortable questions. That is what I can do best. I'm not liked for this, but this doesn't matter for me. I'm the one that's able to make really good solutions, sustainable solutions, because when we are ready, I have proved everything. Yeah, and be punctual, please, because I will be, and I don't like it if I have to wait. And yeah, because everybody else was late, I have to stop now, but I think you got the most important information. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Franziska. It was really nice talk. It's really fun talk. Okay, next point is the coffee break. The last talk for today will